I have touched on this issue before, but I think it's worth its own video, particularly this time. I really think it's time that our National Olympic Committee was renamed to be more reflective of the country that it represents. It is time that our National Olympic Committee and the team, the group, call it what you will, that goes to Olympiads is called Team UK. Um, Why is this important? Team GB is the flawed name, and the reason is that GB, Great Britain, is not a country. Great Britain is an island. It's our main island. That's what it is. I would make an analogy. It would be like the Philippines national team being called Team Luzon. Luzon is the main island of the Philippines, or the Japanese team being called Team Honshu. Honshu being the main island of Japan. Um, I'm proud of our Olympic success. We do very well. We're in the very top when it comes to Olympic performance, in the top, literally the top five countries. Um, in fact, at the moment, we're in the top three. Uh, so that's something to be proud of. But it's just irritating because I think it doesn't. I think I can't think of another country that doesn't use its actual national name in the name of the team. There is some that are sort of neutral titles like Chinese Taipei rather than Taiwan, but there's political issues around that. I don't understand why our Olympic Committee persists in this. It has been brought up before, and it was actually brought up when the athletes came through in Paris by one of the British commentators. Um, and I know that our Olympic Committee has made this excuse. Well, we have athletes from, for example, the Channel Islands or the Isle of Man, and it's to be inclusive of them. But being from Northern Ireland, I think it is a bit of a snub to Northern Ireland. I mean, realistically, Great Britain and Northern Ireland's a bit of a mouthful, and commentators aren't going to say that mouthful every time a British athlete does well. So why not just say Team UK? And with all due respect to athletes from the Channel Islands or the Isle of Man, they are crown dependencies, so not actually part of the United Kingdom. And that's no disrespect to those people. Um, it's wonderful if they want to represent the UK, but Team GB, it's just, I think the problem with it is it sends out this message to the world that that is the name of this country, and it's not. Um, Great Britain literally is just an island. There's no Kingdom of Great Britain, at least not today. There was in the past. But the name of the country is the United Kingdom. So, in the remote chance our Olympic Committee happens to see this video, please just consider that would be a more accurate name for our national team. It just doesn't make sense. Um, to name our national team after the island and not the country. The country is the United Kingdom, not Great Britain. Um, like I say, it confuses the world. I honestly think people around the world will think, what exactly is this country called? Is it Britain? Is it Great Britain? Is it the United Kingdom? Is it England? Because of course, in football, there's the English national team and the Scottish national team. One of my subscribers brought up the issue of amalgamating our football teams. So maybe a case for that. I'm not against it. The only thing is, I would question how would you rearrange the club system, because there's already the English club system and the Scottish club system, which I understand are modelled differently. I mean, how, for example, would you rank Rangers versus Liverpool? Um, Something like that. But regarding the Olympics, it's just time they just use common sense and rebranded the name Team UK. In terms of rebranding, I don't know if it would cost a lot more money because it's two letters. So they might argue it's too expensive to change, but I mean, if we can host an Olympic Games, surely we can afford to change the national team's name to be more accurate. Rather than this mouthful, Team GB and Northern Ireland, it's I mean, maybe people think I'm being a bit pedantic about this, but I just think if you look at every other country, it's straightforward. The French national team is the French Olympic Committee is France. The United States is United States, China is China, and so on. The UK Olympic team should be called Team UK. It's pretty straightforward. And people from the Channel Islands or the Isle of Man would be very welcome to represent this country as well. But that's, for me, it would be more inclusive of Northern Ireland rather than just this kind of add on um, that doesn't make a great deal of sense. It's like saying the name of the island and then one of the constituent nations. It just let me know your thoughts. Maybe people might think I'm reading too much into this, but I'm not the only one to mention this issue. Team UK at the Olympics, it just makes a lot more sense. It's a bit like, I'd also say this for GB News. Um, for all their patriotism, why are they snubbing Northern Ireland? Northern Ireland's not part of Great Britain, but it is part of the country, the UK. So, that's something people need to understand. GB is not a country. And true patriots would understand that. They would understand it's an island and not a country, because they'd actually bother doing their homework. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. So yeah, Team UK, it's about time. Olympics, Paralympics, it's time to consider this. Team UK.